there are volunteers in that group who've been through the process and maybe have children who are 2, 3, 4, 5 years old and even older children, and they are there to support you, but then you can also chat to other mums in a very similar position to you. So that was really, really helpful. And from those discussions, I gleaned that every couple of weeks was a fair amount for me to ask for to be seen, so that we had a very close eye on that baby and we knew what was going on in there. Because children with Down syndrome often, again, there's not a lot of research around this. This is just what I've kind of gleaned from talking to people and figuring it out for myself. There seems to be a bit of an issue around the placenta sometimes, where I don't know if the child takes more than it should from you, or it's because it's struggling to develop, the placenta struggles, or something can happen where the placenta can start to fail, and that can happen quite easily with children with Down syndrome. So that's why they keep a close eye. And when you go, they give you loads of figures that make absolutely no sense, but you're told all of those figures look good. Go away, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And by the end of it, I started to have a vague idea what all those figures meant. And it was really about the functionality of your placenta and how much the baby was getting and how much it was needing and all the rest of it.
Because here's the thing.
And growing.
Here's the thing that you've not mentioned is, like, I know, having had loads of pals who've had babies, and I'm sure you're the same, cravings and such. So we've talked quite a lot about, like, the baby and the diagnoses and the trauma and the, all of that. But, like, did you have a craving for crab apples or something like that?
I had an unusual pregnancy, and it was to do with my hormone levels, and that's how they knew that Lucy had Down syndrome very early on, because when they do that very first test on your blood at 12 weeks, my hormone levels were all out. I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't feel pregnant.
Wow.
And I basically, until she kicked me, which was probably about week 24 or 25 at the earliest, it might have even been later than that, that I didn't, until that happened, even though I was seeing her on the screens, I honestly didn't think there was a baby in there.
So there's a sort of detachment there, because we're conditioned to think, I'm going to have kicking, I'm going to feel bloated, I'm going to have sickness, I'm going to have,
cravings. I had some vague little cravings, but they were I had one craving, which drove John insane, because I was just constantly asking him to go to the shop and buy these, was those Schweppes lemonade lollies. And it was a citrus craving I had, I think, and they seemed to be the only thing that would sort of calm that down. So I did have that craving, but only that one craving. And really, it might have been that I wouldn't normally eat things like that. And because I was pregnant, I just fancied something different. I don't know, but...
Because they say, and again, this may be apocryphal, that what you're craving is what your body's needing.
Yes.
So for example, my mother, when she had me, she said she ate loads and loads of apples, like masses of apples. We had an apple tree in our garden. Our neighbours had apples. And my mum was eating half a dozen apples. I mean, it became ridiculous. And my dad used to joke that, oh, yes, my son was the apple of my eye, and all of those dad-type jokes.